Hello everyone, welcome back to one more video. Um, Finally I'm getting through catching up with putting in order some of my newer comics. So I found a little bit of time to do this video. Actually, this is something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, but I never really had a chance. Today I want to talk about one I don't know if I can call it one of my oddities in my collection, if not the only one, probably. But this is a book that I was very happy to be able to grab my hands on. It's not the Conan the Barbarian #1. The reason that I put this comic here, and this is you're probably going to look at certainly one book on my list. I haven't forgot beauty comics, haven't forgot of my list of my 10 books that if something happened and I have to run, which one will be one of my 10 books. Now this book that I'm going to show you definitely is going to come in with me, because it's not a very expensive book. It's just simply very hard to find. Everybody knows that this Conan the Barbarian #1 is pretty much 1970, I believe. It's pretty much the first time that Conan was ever brought into the comic books by Marvel. Marvel was the first one to actually start publishing Conan books, Conan comic books, with Conan the Barbarian. Really awesome series, really great book, amazing book. What not many people may know, I didn't really know until some years back when I stumbled upon an article, is about this one. This is a Mexican comic book. It's from this particular number is from 1959, if I'm correct. Let's just take a quick look. March 1953. Sorry, I was mistaken. Now this series is an unofficial adaptation, or the very first, at least as far as I know as of today, the time that I'm making this video, this is an unofficial adaptation of Conan by a Mexican writer and artist. It was unofficial. The series is called Cuentos del Abuelito. It's a series of stories. It's tales from the grandfather, basically. That's a literal translation for this. And it's a series started in 1951, I believe. It ran for 111, 130 some numbers. But the story for Conan, it's basically Conan wasn't really the main character. Conan was a secondary character. The main character was Belit. This is an adaptation of The Queen of the Black Coast. This story is an adaptation of The Queen of the Black Coast from Robert E. Howard. And as you can see, this is nothing of the Conan that we know. Here Conan is blonde and is certainly not the main character. The main character, as I mentioned before, is Belit. The story ran for several books. There were a few books in the in-between where they put some other stories for kids. This book, when I read the story, I read an article years ago, probably, I don't know, I'm going to say about 5-6 years ago. I read an article about this series, and then immediately started to search for the series, for the number, or something that I can get my hands on. After a year or so, I grabbed this book it's called Mercado Libre. It's basically an eBay for Latin America. And I managed to grab this book. I asked my sister-in-law to buy it for me because I couldn't pay it from Canada. But I got it, and I was super excited when I found this book. I was really excited. If you search on eBay, you may find some books called La Reina de la Costa Negra, which is Queen of the Black Coast. Those are, for the most part, those are reprints. If you don't see it as Cuentos del Abuelito, it's basically the reprint that came out after the series was done. I'm gonna flip through the pages. Hopefully you guys can take a look at this. I'm gonna see if I can zoom a little bit for you. So this book, complete pages, really good book. Trying to be very gentle with the pages. I mean, as you can see, this is probably why many people don't even care, probably, maybe, about this. But if you are a Conan fan like I am, you will certainly like to have one of this, even if it's not an official adaptation. It's really cool. I mean, it's a piece of history from Conan, whether people like it or not. This is really a piece of history, and I'm really happy. One of the staples is misplaced. I don't think it was removed, and I don't think it was added after. I think it was the original staple. I'm not an expert on this, and I certainly haven't had a chance to get my hands on any other of these books. You can see some pictures if you search for it in Google of all the other covers, but I have never seen an interior or a complete interior of a book. And certainly in 5 years or so, can't really know exactly, this is pretty much the only copy that I have been able to grab. I keep looking, I keep searching. Of course, I would love to have this series. I know that in my wildest dreams I will never own it, because, well, this is a book from the 50s, so we know what happened with those books. We know that at that point there wasn't really collectors. The collecting of the books wasn't really as it is now, although you can find some, yeah. But I also can imagine that anybody who has one of those and really loves. Here we have, this is the abuelito. This is the grandfather who is actually telling the story. Y pudo salvarse Conan, abuelito. And Conan was able to be saved. Well, you'll know in the next chapter. So here it is. This is the back of the cover. Man, really love this book. This is probably one of my only oddity in my collection. And I'm really happy to have it. And if I ever have to run, this is definitely a copy that is going to come with me. So there you go, guys. I just wanted to share with you this book. If anybody has seen it, if anybody knows about it, well, now you can please make comments. I really am really trying to find out anything that I can on this book. Really happy that it was in one page. Order of small tear here. The book is intact. A little bit broken pages here and there, but I mean, what can I say from a 1953 comic? Alright, guys, hope you have enjoyed this book, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.